What are we doing today? Well, we are going to take a look at my 4 favorite knives that have come in this year. It would have been 5, but well, I sent one of them back to its owner. So you really can't have it in a video if it's not here. So you guys know what time it is. We're going to take a look at it from above. But first, turn down that volume because here comes a little bit of music. Like I said in the intro, we are going to look at my 4 favorite knives so far this year. So I was going to do this in April, but at the beginning of April, but a lot of stuff came up, and I actually sent one of the knives back because it was going to be 5. I was going to do my first quarter pick. So we've got a handful of knives here. We're going to crack into them one at a time. We'll start with one of them that is down at the bottom, and then we'll finish with my favorites. So we'll start bottom and work my way up. So let's go ahead and start with this one right here. So this knife is the Hogue M or X1MF. Now, I have not looked up all the specs. I just did the first day in pockets really on it the other day, but I've had it here and I've been carrying it for what, 3-4 days now, maybe a little bit longer. It is a great little knife. It's not something that typically would appeal to me. It's kind of outside of where I normally sit. So it's got a little bit of a weird blade to handle ratio and stuff like that. But the fact is that once you get it and you handle it and you're using it, this thing is amazing. So I'm assuming I had originally said that these were titanium scales. I believe, looking at it and having people tell me, they think that they're aluminum, not titanium. So this is a unique knife. It is a flipper button lock, but it has this weird detent. Now, I haven't looked it up yet, so I don't know price or anything yet, but this really rapidly became one of my favorite knives, not just for the way it looks and the way it feels and the balance and everything, but it has such a unique feel to it when you flip it. So, I mean, it's really good and it's really comfortable in hand. The other thing is, it just, when you open it, it just kind of falls into that. Like, you open that knife, literally open that knife, and it just kind of falls into a very relaxed, comfortable grip. This is probably one of the best little cutters that I've had come in. This was a gift from Beardo the Weirdo. And so it's really a lot of fun. So it's got this weird button. It's got this weird secondary lock on it. Now, like I said in the first impressions, typically I don't like that little secondary lock. It usually is something that I would say belongs on something like this, like a button lock. On a flipper and things like that, not so much. This is 154 cm steel. Pocket clip's not horrible. It's not great, but the nice thing is they actually made it ambidextrous. And the fact is, a button lock, whether you want to look at it or that way or not, is an ambidextrous lock. You can hit that from this side. As a matter of fact, my buddy Tino's a lefty. He loves doing that. Flipper tab is a little bit big, but it also winds up becoming super comfortable once you get it in hand with that big flipper tab. So this knife has got a lot of things that should just be not things that I don't like in a knife, but for some reason you put it all together and it looks like a shark. It looks like a shark and it's comfortable. It cuts well. It's got a unique look. It's got a unique feel. But the fact is, it's really functional. It is great. And I mean, it's American made. You can't go wrong with this knife. So there you go. Number 1 on the list is the Hogue X1MF. Now, they have a larger version of this. So let's go ahead and bring up the next knife. So this next knife is one that just recently came in. Jared sent this to me. This is the Vas Deed knives BELLAMY. Wow, somebody's getting it out there on a freeway. Really close to the 905, which connects the 5 north and south and the 805 north and south. And people get on that road and just get it. So this is the Vas Deed BELLAMY in M390, and now this has not gotten its first day in pockets up yet. I actually filmed first day in pockets but I haven't finished the edit on it. I carried this knife a little bit, and I thought at first, when I first got it, that this little sweep to it would put it out of something I would like. I really like this knife. This thing is nice and thin, nice and slicey, carries like a dream. Not to kind of give away anything. It's in my rotation of stuff that I'm carrying to work my way to the full review. But these Vas Deed knives, this one and the Nightshade, both incredibly well done. M390 steel. This thing is super, super sharp. And the action is nuts, guys. Look at that. The action on this is just insanely smooth. You can even though that fuller is not real substantial, it's not really a deep fuller, it's there for aesthetics, you can reverse flick off of it really easily. Front flipper, back flipper, liner lock. If you're gonna do a front flipper, I like having options. The front flipper on it is really good. It's a liner lock, so that means I'm not putting tension on the frame, the lock bar. And the fact that you've given me a secondary deployment method, which is a back flipper, just makes it even better. The back flipper's not real intrusive. It's a good looking knife. I'm pretty sure this is linear carbon fiber. I haven't looked up any specs on this yet because I haven't gotten to the point where I'm doing a full review yet. Cuts so well. It's so comfortable in hand, and that blade shape is gorgeous. I like a beautiful clip point blade. The fact it's got a full fuller across it, I'm not going to complain. It is really good. All black blade. The markings stand out nice and clean. If you're a lanyard guy, you got a spot for a lanyard hole. You can see the layers. And the fact is, the liners are hidden. Another little thing that I like, if you're going to do a liner lock, there's two ways I like it. I like a liner lock that is clean like this, where they're hidden. And I also like something that kind of showcases and gives you that little pop of color. Those are my two favorites. When you do it like this, it is so clean. You really don't see much of anything on those liners. It gives it a much cleaner appearance and look. There's no inconsistencies in the finish on the area between the scale and the blade. It's just solid, clean all the way up. And the only place you really see it is like here, where you've got it back here on the very back, and then in the liner lock area. It just makes it clean. It makes it nice. And this is a really attractive, really well-balanced, really good knife. I'm enjoying carrying it. I'm hoping to have the full review on this done before too long. First day in pockets you guys haven't got to see yet. It's filmed. It just has not been edited yet. So there you go. The VOSTEED knives Bellamy. So it was really hard to pick the order of the next two because the next two are basically in a dead tie for my favorite knives this year. This one is the Tucson TS383 that was a gift to the channel, to me, from Winston Cabretti. And this thing is insane. At first, when I first got it, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. It spends a lot of time in my pocket, especially now that things have gotten removed around and I've been carrying this a lot. So a lot of times my secondary knife in my waistband is this. Even though it doesn't carry as great in the waistband as I would like. That's really an impressive looking knife. You look at the price point, you're getting a lot of knife for the money. It's a 14C28N, and I think this is the best slicing knife so far this year. Like, this knife has performed better than any knife so far this year. And like I said, when I first got it, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it because of all of this, and I wasn't sure how I felt about the logo being right there, like stamped in or engraved in. But once you get it in hand and you get used to the little idiosyncrasies and little things that are different about these, it's great. The balance winds up being just perfect right at the pivot or a little forward of the pivot because you've removed so much material back here. The action on it is, guys, watch this. Just shy of drop shot, just a little convincing. And that's because it's dirty. It usually is much cleaner and smoother. Running on bearings, Tucson is really knocking out of the park. They get some of the detail stuff that I like. You know, I'll overlook aesthetics if the knife performs. This thing is unbelievably well ground and comes down to a nightmarishly thin edge that is 14C28N. I finished it on a natural Arkansas stone, so it is it's terrifying how sharp this knife is. It is just screaming sharp. The aesthetics of it, I mean, for a knife that is under $100, you are looking at an incredibly good looking knife at that price point. Titanium that's been milled really well. You've got all this open area, that the speed holes. It just all works on this knife. And then Tucson has got these pivots that they use that are just really attractive. It's nothing over the top they did, but they just pop. They really look nice. And so this knife is one of those ones that is going to stay with me for a very long time. I don't think I'll be getting rid of this anytime soon. It was a gift to the channel. Like both of these knives were a gift to the channel. I shouldn't say they were a gift to me. So that means that, you know, eventually they may go somewhere. I can send them out on loan, but just the way this feels, the way it cuts, this thing is all but perfect, especially at I think these were $88 if I remember right when I looked them up to do the review of it. So can't go wrong. Tucson TS383 and 14C28N. And the last knife is this PMP Big Boy, also a gift from Winston Cobretti. If I had to make a choice between the two of these, I would say that this one would win sheerly on aesthetics. But when you get down to just the nuts and bolts of it, it is also just a great knife. It's in a tie for this Tucson TS383, except for the aesthetics. So much going on with this knife that is so good. The action on it is truly amazing. This one is drop shut, and that's not a loose pivot. I have tightened that pivot down real tight, and there's nothing there. It is frictionless. The action on it snaps open. It's got a good sound. Comfort in hand, it's all there. It's really good. The pocket clip has a couple little minor things about it, but the flip side of that, as much as I don't like the fact that that pocket clip moves, I do have to admit that this pocket clip is super comfortable, even being fairly deep carry, and it does not at all damage anything. I have gotten in and out of my car. I've rubbed up against my car. It has not caused any real scratches. I have a leather seat belt in my car. It hasn't scratched that. You've got good, solid titanium construction. Big, broad 14C28N blade that cuts really well. It's not quite as slicey as the Tucson 383, the TS383, because it's just not quite as thin behind the edge, but not far behind it. Beautiful swedge finish on it. Nice, big, ample area, jimping for some real hard use. There's no real hot spots on this at all. Nice, thick. I got big hands. I like a nice broad handle. It's not overly thick. It is broad enough that you get a really good grip on it. Super comfortable. And like I said, just a beautiful showing. I'd never seen a PMP knife, and I'm glad this is the one I got to see. This is just about perfect right here. This is going to be one that I'm going to judge. I will judge other knives against this one when it comes to lock bar access, because while it's not an over-the-top deep scalloped area here, this isn't so broadly just really extra tall that it feels uncomfortable. What they did was they just milled that out just about perfect amount of access. The lock bar tension on it is just perfect for what you want. No blade play, no wiggle, no rock, and then just that deep in and then pop when it closes. Listen, I love this. Bang. So can't go wrong with this knife. If you can find one of these, I absolutely recommend picking it up. It is an incredible knife, cuts incredibly well. And the fact is, it's not real heavy. It's fairly light because they have done a lot, and I mean a lot, of interior machining to lighten this knife out. Not quite as much as this one, but a lot. So if I had to pick between these two, just on aesthetics, I think this one would win, but it's pretty much a tie when it comes down to all the functionality of these two knives. So I would have to say that these two right now are in a dead heat. This one cuts better, this one looks better. They both feel good, so really, really good knives. Thanks again, Winston, for the gift of the knives. This was great. He sent me like 4 knives at this point. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's my 4 knives. Let's turn this around and do some final thoughts. There you go, guys. There was my 4 favorite knives. My 4 favorite knives that have come in so far in 2022. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's a dead heat between this PMP Big Boy and this Tucson TS383. Both of them from the same person. They were both gifts from Winston Cobretti, big supporter of the channel. So yeah, guys, that's it on this one. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like the videos, give them a thumbs down. But you got to tell me why I can't change that content if you don't tell me what you don't want to see. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. And if you hit the bell icon, you got to make sure you turn notifications on your device, or you will not get notified of the pretty much 2 videos a day that go up, either a video in a live feed or a video in a video, even midday shorts sometimes. So if you want to support the channel other ways, there's a lot of ways you can do it financially. Down in the description below, I've built you a membership link that gets you in on my membership. It's a tier-based thing. Different tiers get different benefits. Pick the tier that suits you best and gets you what you want out of the membership. But everyone saves $5 off my sharpening service. And everyone gets access to my gilded server where we goof off and just chat. Other ways you can do it, I have affiliate links down below. I have 2 new affiliates that I'm really happy about. I have Coffee Brand Coffee, where it's an apolitical company. They don't insert any politics, so it does not matter what your political leanings are, the coffee is good. And the other one is Blade HQ, where a lot of these items that you're gonna see, pretty much all of them, you can go and purchase them. It doesn't cost you anything, but they just provide me a little bit of it at checkout for having brought you that direction. And the final way is I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co, where you can purchase my shirts. I've set up a coupon code that works anywhere on Ember Shirt Co, and that coupon code is CrazySharp, all one word, capital C, capital S. CrazySharp saves you 10% at checkout. Guys, I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.